boys and girls, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of the first two episodes of a 10-episode series that premiered on FX February the 27th. It is Shogun. I have been highly anticipating this show. I love this type of epicness on television. The first two episodes are also streaming on HULU as well for all of your enjoyment. Shogun is an American historical drama limited series that is based on a 1975 novel of the same name. And the novel was previously adapted in a limited TV series in the 80s as well. And I believe that show starred Richard Chamberlain, I believe. I could be wrong on the name, but I remember that show vaguely. I 1980, I was one, so I didn't, of course, I didn't sit down and watch it, but I do remember on reruns or something like that, and I did catch pieces of it. Didn't intrigue me then, but this version did. When I saw the trailers and who was involved, I was all in. The premise of this show, Shogun follows the collision of two ambitious men from different worlds and a mysterious woman samurai, John Blackthorne, a risk-taking English sailor who ends up shipwrecked in Japan, a land whose unfamiliar cultures will ultimately redefine him. Lord Toranaga, a powerful lord in Japan, at odds with his own dangerous political rivals, and Lady Morocco, a woman with invaluable skills but dishonorable family ties, who must prove her value and alliance. This show stars the great Hiroyuki Sanada. Pretty sure I butchered his name. If I did, I apologize. Who I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan, even though I butchered his name. I'm a huge fan of his. And he is, and I hate to put it like this, I really do, but I don't know no other way to put it. He is one of my favorite Japanese actors. And I hate to put him in a box like that. You know what I'm saying? I like him. He's my favorite Japanese actor, or he's my favorite black actor. He's my favorite white actor. I hate doing that, but I don't know other way to describe it. But he is truly one of my favorite Japanese actors. Most recently, we've seen him in John Wick Chapter 4. He was in Bullet Train, Mortal Kombat. He was even in Avengers Endgame for a minute. He has a storied career. It goes all the way back to the 60s. His filmography, it don't make sense, but the dude is amazing. I love him as an actor. It transcends nationality, to be honest with you, but that's the only way I could describe him. Starring alongside of him is Cosmo Jarvis as John Blackheart, and Anna Swati, who we just saw recently in Monarch on Apple TV Plus, the Godzilla show. And so she's coming up, and I liked her in that show, so it's pretty cool to see her pop up in here as well. And so far, she's doing a good job. I wasn't going to review these two episodes. I was gonna wait to the end, whether I liked it or not, the show as a whole, to actually give my opinions on the show. But the first two episodes were so exciting and interesting and did a marvelous job of world building. I was like, well, I might as well talk about it, but just in case a lot of you haven't checked out this show. And part of this is to make sure that you check out this show. Because it seems like if they keep on this trajectory, that this could be one of the best shows we've seen in a long time. The first two shows, the first two episodes I mean, it isn't the greatest piece of television I've ever seen. I'm not ready to jump out the window with that statement, but it is really good, and the setup is really good, and this has the potential. The potential now. I know this is probably going to be blasphemous to a lot of people, so just prepare yourselves. But this has the potential to be Game of Thrones level good. I mean, this has everything in it. It has the political intrigue, family issues, religious debates, all that wrapped up in one, and is done very well in these first two episodes. The first episode, which is entitled Engine, which is the Japanese translation to pilot or navigator, sailor. And so the first episode, we get introduced to John Blackthorne, who is played by Cosmo Jarvis. And what I liked about this show thus far is how we get a setup to everybody. We get proper setups to every character in this show, not just John, but Lord Yoshi and Mariko, and all the other supporting characters. Really good. Another takeaway I have is the way is the way we get subtitles throughout this show. This isn't yes, this is an American show. It is made for American television, but this is Japanese heavy. And I loved every single minute of it. Normally I'll get mad. I'll get mad because, man, I got to read. For the whole show. I thought maybe at one point they'll do some type of plot device that they would, go into English speaking, so the audience can, follow along more swiftly. But no, they stayed true to it. And I think this goes back to our star of this series, Hiroyuki Sanada, who only signed on to do this show if they kept it Japanese. And not only bring in Japanese actors to play these roles, not whitewash anything, but also speak Japanese. That was his condition to being on the show. And they agreed, he agreed, and I think the show is better for it. It's more authentic that way. It feels real. It feels like this actually happened, which it did. This is based loosely on true events, historical events. Now, it's not 100% accurate, this is based in the 1500s, so roughly over 500 years ago, but it is loosely based on historical facts. So looking at it from that spectrum, it's great. The visuals in this show, outstanding. I don't know what the production cost for this show is, but it's worth every penny. It is truly a visual marvel to look at. I mean, beautiful set pieces. The scenes when they're at sea looks great. The palaces, the costume designs, the visuals of the aerial shots of Japan and stuff like that is gorgeous. There are big budget $200 million blockbuster films that come out that don't look as good as this show. Like I said, I don't know what the cost was, but man, they put we get our money's worth out of it. I'll just put it like that. And this show doesn't hold anything back. To say it was on FX and Hulu, well, I can understand if it was on Hulu, but it's on FX and it is raw. It is very raw. The first episode has a kind of awkward looking sex scene in it. There's also a torture that takes place in that first episode that was so brutal that I was cringing. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? When they boiled the man alive and they hear him screaming throughout the night until he died. Till he actually had to kill himself in order to stop. I mean, my God, I can't think of another. I always thought that burning alive would be the worst thing, the most horrible way to die. But being cooked, it went up to number one today. It went up when I watched this episode. I was like, oh my God, this is brutal. I mean, you're literally being cooked alive, boiled alive. Nah, no, nah, that was brutal. Yeah, just shoot me in the head. Anywho's, it is well written thus far. I think, like I said, to open up, that this can be at a level of Game of Thrones. I'm not saying it's better than Game of Thrones. I'm not even saying Game of Thrones is the bar for television, but it is definitely one of the best shows in the last 20 years. But this has elements of it, with the political intrigue. You know what I'm saying? The family struggles, all that wrapped up in one nice shiny package. Awesome. I really enjoyed that. Looking forward to more. So that's that got me hooked. Not a lot of action, so to speak, which is fine. I really wasn't watching this for a lot of action. There are some scenes that take place that are action oriented, but none to the effect to whereas I was like, oh man, that moved the needle or anything like that. No, it is more of a political drama, a family drama. It's like a soap opera, as well as exploring different cultures. I'm real big on that. I love exploring different cultures and, getting kind of a peek behind the curtain, if you will, of cultures that I probably on any normal occasion wouldn't come in contact with. Not out of any malice or nothing like that. I just wouldn't get the opportunity to. And that's why you get shows like this, so you can branch out and see different cultures and stuff like that. Not to say that Japan is like that right now, the way this show depicts it. I mean, it was 500 years ago. I'm more than certain it's different now. But to see how they came to be, how their hierarchy was at that time. I'm a history nut, so for that reason, is great to see this era depicted on screen. The two characters that I remembered from the old 1980 limited run of Shogun, if memory serves, there's a love story involved there between John Blackthorne and what's her name, Meiriko. I think there's a love story that comes out of that, and you can see the seeds planted in episode 2 here with those two characters. And once again, love that we didn't just jump in and she saw him for the first time and it was like love at first sight and all this other foolishness. No. It's gonna build, and you can see it starting to build. Little seeds are being planted there, and we're actually going to grow to something, and that's exciting to see. Because you get aggravated, at least I do. I get aggravated when you watch movies or TV shows and people just instantly fall in love. And in real life, that's not how it works. At least not in never in my life. I never looked at somebody, and I'm pretty sure it didn't happen. It probably didn't happen to you. And if it did, good for you. But, more often than not, you don't look at somebody and instantly fall in love. I mean, you may be infatuated with a person or, be attracted to a person. Now, I'm not talking about that. I mean, fall in love. Like, as soon as you see them, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with them. No. Because what if you walk up to them and their breath stink or something? It's... stuff like that. That always runs in my mind. So you gotta find out what their sensibilities are and things of that nature. But I went on this long rant. But anyway, you see that this isn't a instant fall in love thing, which I appreciate. You know, you have some respect for your audience to hang on and enjoy the ride and trust the showrunners and your actors and your writers that they're going to do a decent job. So far, I'm enjoying the show. If you can't tell, I'm very excited. I'm not going to grade these 2 episodes because I mean it's early in the season. This can go bad real quick. You know, I've seen that happen too. You know, enjoyed the first couple of episodes and then it goes straight into the dumpster. So I'm, but my fingers are crossed. Hopefully that we get a good show in these remaining 8 episodes that will be released week to week every Tuesday on FX. Or episode 3 will premiere on March the 5th, and we are off and running from there. I would like to know, have you checked out Shogun? If you have, how do you like it thus far? And if you haven't checked out Shogun, what are you waiting for? I highly recommend it. This was the purpose of this review. I just want everybody to check it out. Check it out. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. I think you will enjoy it, especially if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, you know, shows like that. I think you would enjoy this. No, there's no dragons in this show. There's nothing mystical or fantasy wise in the show. I'm just saying from the storytelling element of it, that it feels like Game of Thrones intrigue. And I miss that. I miss that so much. And this looks like it's going to touch in on that. I would like to know how you feel. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube, also on social media. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review or recap of the first 2 episodes of Shogun, which is on FX and streaming on Hulu. Can't wait to speak to you on the next go around. Want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love everyone. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.